Hey everybody, welcome back to Around the Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, where I speak to guests from across UAE about topics you want to hear about. Today I have such a cool guest on the show. Hi, Christiana.
Hi, Sara.
So, guys, Christiana Maxion is on the show with me today because she is doing something absolutely incredible. She is the founder and CEO of MAXION, which is a digital dating marketplace with a different concept. It's called Meet First, Match Later, which is a very cool style. Please, Christiana, tell me your story and what got you into the dating kind of tech space.
Oh gosh, it's a long story. I feel like I've lived 8 different lives, and hopefully I'm not a cat and only have one left. But I actually started my career as an athlete. I was a springboard diver. I dove all around the world, including China, Canada, the Americas. I'm originally from New York. I got recruited to be a collegiate athlete, and then I studied finance at the University of Notre Dame. Did an internship at Merrill Lynch and in New York, and decided that finance wasn't for me. So because of all of my years as an athlete and as a coach, I decided to actually go into education. So I got my master's in education. I taught first grade and kindergarten in the South Bronx. So that was like a whirlwind experience, but I learned and grew so much. And gosh, years ago, I fell in love with a boy who was on a work trip in New York. And this is what actually brought me to the UAE. So I moved to Abu Dhabi back in August 2016 as a kindergarten teacher. Now, he and I split, but I decided to stay because what I really saw was that the UAE is a place where if you really take action, you can make something of yourself. So I ended up becoming a national teacher trainer, a published author, and a school leader all before the age of 29. Where if I were back in New York, that would have taken me till I was 49. Because in education in the States, I feel like they really promote you based on longevity rather than merit. And yeah, gosh, in 2019, I ended up moving up to Dubai. 2020, we obviously had more time on our hands being at home, not going into school. And I experienced my own expat loneliness being on my own. And I just decided to use dating apps as a way to meet people. And in that, I had this kooky idea that I was going to create an Instagram account called Dating in Dubai, where I was documenting my experience as a Western expat dating online or in lockdown, post lockdown. And that account gained a lot of traction. But what I realized from it was that people really disliked dating in Dubai. And I was shocked because I only had great experiences and it kind of turned more into like a dating advice kind of platform.
Right.
And I really learned about the struggles of what men face, what women face. But in all honesty, like Dubai is a place where I have met the most ambitious, interesting, cool people, dynamic on both sides, male and female. So I was shocked. And I literally just said, I was like, you know what? I want to be the bridge that connects these people. So that is how I actually launched into the relationship space. My first company is as a matchmaker, and now I have a global agency only catering to the 1% of the world. But I had a super success story. Gosh, it had how many years ago is this now? Probably in 2022, where one of my clients, first person I put him on a date with, he's still married to babies in Europe, but he worked in the tech space. Oh, it's the best. Like I have the best job in the world where I get to help people actually find and create that connection with somebody. Because when you have created a lot of success for yourself, that's great, but then life is about sharing that with somebody.
I love
But
it.
anyway, yeah, so I had introduced them. 4 months later, he asked me for a coffee, and I literally was like, "Oh no, they broke up." I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna have to find him somebody else." But we ended up meeting, and he worked in the tech space, and he said to me, "What you do is magic, but it's not scalable. Turn it into a tech product." And
Hmm.
I was like, "Durr-durr-durr," and then that's where Maxion was born.
I love that. I love the fact you actually like have a success story that's based off of firstly like one of your first clients, but also that helped you
Yeah,
evolve your business into what it is today. And
correct.
obviously like
Mhm.
bringing that type of new type of business to the UAE is something obviously we've seen things like, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, etc. But to bring a new type of concept to the UAE must have had some
Yeah.
challenges. What are the kind of issues that and that you experienced and how did you resolve those?
Yes, so we're actually ADGM licensed. And when I had first applied for different licenses across, I actually tried DIFC first, and they were like, no, we're more finance, like this isn't for us. And then when I applied to ADGM, there's a lot of back and forth, right? Because they wanted to understand more about the business plan. Because obviously, on paper, dating is haram, right? So we were going back and forth about it. And what I had done back then was tie it into the 2030 mission because at that point in time, they were talking about doubling the population of the UAE. And I had really, when I presented, I said, right now, Dubai, Abu Dhabi are seen as transient cities. But after 2020, I saw that there was a huge trend, not only of people buying homes from renting homes, but also the change in laws about living with a partner out of wedlock, having children with a partner out of wedlock. This is over 6 years ago now when they changed that. And I was like, wow, the UAE is becoming a magnet for people from the East and the West. So I really saw this as an opportunity. And I basically was like, what it is known for is being transient and being having a high churn in people, right? Because some
Yeah.
people come here, they come for 2 years, make their money, and then they leave to go back to their home country, get married, have babies done. So I said, like, this is what we want to do with Maxion. If you want to double the population, you need people to stay. It can't just be constantly bringing in new people. And if you like equate it to tech, it's like it can't constantly be acquisition, acquisition, acquisition. There needs to be retention, right? So basically, I presented Maxion as this will be a platform where we will actually be able to connect people so that they can build here, put down their roots, and create and build families.
I love that. That's very cool. It's the fact that I didn't even consider the part about it like dating not being considered like technically halal. Like it didn't even that part didn't even
Yeah.
occur to me because you have to meet people, right? But I guess the approach of how you meet people and what you consider the context of meeting that person is different. And you've already kind of shared some really cool stories about kind of like registering your license and your first success story. Is there any kind of moment or kind of anything surprising or crazy or like wild that happened to you that you didn't expect?
So, so my whole story is, so I spoke about the Instagram account, and I was working as a leader in a school at the time. They had found out about the account and fired me in 24 hours. They were like, boom, this doesn't match the ethos of our school. Because I was doing it simultaneously, but it wasn't like a job. I was just speaking about experiences.
Right.
And at first, I was shocked because I was like, oh my gosh, I've spent 9 years of my life in this career. And your career kind of becomes your identity, especially like when you're younger, right? I mean, even at any age. So I had sat with it and I said, you know what I see with dating in Dubai, there can be something different. So when I launched my first business as a matchmaker, and it was just me, building a network, word of mouth, like, hey, if you know anybody who would find value in this service, has the budget for it, reach out to me, telling all my friends. And I was broke, Sarah, like broke as a joke, maxed out 2 different credit cards because I was just like, I just needed to live, right? And living in Dubai is not cheap.
Yeah.
So I had reached out to my parents and I said, guys, this was in November 22, 23, I can't remember now, 21.
Hmm.
And I said to them, I was like, just give me $5,000. I was like, I just need $5,000. Like, I can stretch this. Like, I just need to be able to survive, right? For the next couple of months. I know that what I'm doing has such a positive impact on people. It just needs to pick up, right? And my parents said no. They were like, you put yourself in this situation, you need to figure it out. And I literally, like, at first, you're like heartbroken. You're like, oh my gosh, am I the only person in the world that believes in myself? And then to like make this kind of like, okay, it all coming together when obviously then we had huge success and where we are today. But they ended up being the first investors into Maxion, so into our app. So it all came kind of 360
Yeah.
at the end. Because, I mean, you do have to prove yourself. And I actually thank them that they didn't give me that 5,000 because then it would have been a crutch to me, right? Then they
Right.
ended up putting in like 150,000, right, into the app.
I love
So it kind of became a 360 moment.
I love that so much. It's so cool that you
Mhm.
believed in yourself even when you were at like the lowest point financially. Like you obviously were in one of the, it's not the cheapest city to live in, Dubai as well. Like obviously we don't have income tax, but there's a lot of other, lifestyle finances that we have to kind of consider. And this kind of brings me to my final question for you today, Christiana. What would you say is kind of like a word of advice in terms of kind of social connections in times of uncertainty? What advice would you want the listeners to hear today?
Yeah, so I'm in a very fortunate position where I have a partner. And when everything had kicked off about a month ago, we had one another. Like we had each other to basically lean on and to be with and to help like regulate each other's like nervous system. And then I had lots of friends who were on their own and they really, really struggled. And now that I feel like we're coming out like the end of it, I just really want people to connect, check in with your friends, right? Check in with them, go meet them. And also, if you're a person who does feel very anxious about this situation, it might be difficult, but try to step away from the screen. Try to step away from like being on a news ticker and go meet people in person. Even if, let's say, you don't have your friends physically here now, even just being out in a cafe, even going to like a workout class and just seeing other people kind of create like normalcy for themselves,
Yeah,
that is going to be extremely, extremely helpful.
I love that. I love
Oh
that.
yeah, and then also join Maction. We're about to relaunch.
I'm like, where
And
where
then
is
you
your
can be,
actual business in this? I love the advice, but where's your
yeah.
actual business in the story? So how does it work? How can people sign up? How does it work?
Yeah, so we are doing a full relaunch, and in about a week and a half, you can actually join the wait list. And then in 8 weeks, that's when we're going to do the relaunch of the product, where it's a dating marketplace, and it's all about meeting first, matching later. So go to @maction.dating.app or themaction.com, and you can sign up. And I'm so excited to match you guys.
That's amazing. And they can be kind of any religion, they can be any background, any location within the UAE.
Yeah, so we're primarily dating in Dubai because it's about in-person activations, right? But with that, what our target market is like 26 to 46 accomplished professionals, successful individuals who basically would find value in a service like this and who are ready to take action and do the act of dating.
I love that. Do the active dating. That is so important. And I really appreciate that slogan. And I think that's a kind of a beautiful way to come to the end of this interview. Thank you so much, Christiana, for your time today. And
Thank
I'm
you,
excited to
Sara.
see where your app goes. I love that. Thank you. Yes, and everybody, those who are looking for. Oh, I love the
Oh
little hearts. It didn't come up for me.
no! Yeah,
Really?
you have to do
Damn.
it.
Oh,
You have to have your reactions on.
thank you so much, Christiana. I'll catch you later. Bye.